Opening scene, the Galactic Defense Academy on planet Nexus Prime receives their first human instructor. Marine Staff Sergeant Jake Torres arrives via transport ship, carrying only a standard duffel bag and his service rifle. The alien cadets and instructors are curious but skeptical about this primitive species. Character. Introduction: Jake Torres, former Earth Marine, combat veteran from the Outer Colony Wars, age 32, Commander Vex, Reptilian Academy director who requested the human instructor Lieutenant Kip, young alien officer assigned as Jake's liaison. The cadets, mixed species including bird-like avians, insectoid mantids, and crystalline silicates. The Academy setting. The Academy is a massive floating structure above Nexus Prime. Advanced technology everywhere, holographic training rooms, gravity manipulation, energy weapons. Jake looks primitive compared to their tech, but his calm demeanor unsettles some observers. First impressions: Jake's arrival ceremony is formal. Alien dignitaries expect speeches about human military doctrine. Instead, Jake simply states, "I'm here to teach you how to fight, not with fancy gadgets, but with your mind and will." The challenge Commander Vex explains the real situation. The Academy has produced technically skilled officers, but they keep losing battles against a mysterious enemy called the Devourers. Recent graduates panic under real combat stress. The War Department secretly wants to test if human primitive tactics can solve their problem. Jake's assessment. Jake observes training sessions. He watches alien cadets use advanced simulators, energy shields, and AI-assisted targeting. They're technically perfect, but predictable. When scenarios go wrong, they freeze or rely too heavily on technology. Cultural clash. The alien instructors question Jake's methods when he suggests hand-to-hand combat training. Why learn primitive fighting when we have energy weapons? Asks Instructor Mal, a tall gray alien. Jake responds by disarming him in 3 seconds using basic martial arts. The first lesson. Jake's first class is simple: a 5-mile run around the Academy without any technological assistance. Half the cadets can't finish. Those who do are exhausted and confused. "This proves nothing," complains Cadet Rex, a proud avian. "When will we use running in space combat?" Hidden observers unknown to Jake. War Department officials monitor his every move. General Tor, head of military intelligence, watches from hidden cameras. He's placing a massive bet on human methods against the advice of his staff. Jake's philosophy. During evening discussions with Lieutenant Kip, Jake explains human military history. "We didn't start with the best technology. We learned to fight with sticks and stones. That teaches you something machines can't: how to adapt when everything goes wrong." The real test begins at the end of Part 1. Commander Vex privately informs Jake that this isn't just about teaching. The next batch of graduates will face real combat within months. The Devourers are advancing toward core worlds. If human methods fail, billions will die. Cliffhanger. Jake accepts the challenge, but requests complete authority over training methods. If you want human results, you follow human rules. The alien leadership reluctantly agrees, not knowing they've just signed up for the most brutal military training in galactic history. The shock treatment. Jake implements Hell Week, a human marine boot camp tradition. No technology except basic equipment. Cadets must survive in wilderness areas using only primitive tools. The pampered alien cadets are horrified. Psychological warfare. Jake uses human psychological tactics. Sleep deprivation, stress positions, and constant pressure. Many cadets quit in the first week. "This is barbaric," protests Cadet Zill, a silicate whose crystalline body isn't designed for physical stress. The breakdown. Jake focuses on breaking their dependence on technology and authority. When cadets ask for instructions, he responds, "Figure it out." When they want to quit, he says, "Then quit." No motivation speeches, just cold reality. Unexpected results, some cadets adapt. Rex the avian discovers his natural flying abilities are better than tech-assisted flight. Maya, a quiet mantid, learns to use her natural camouflage better than any cloaking device. Resistance from staff, the alien instructors complain to Commander Vex. He's destroying military discipline. But Jake's methods reveal something disturbing. Many elite cadets are actually dependent weaklings who can't think without computer assistance. The core lesson Jake introduces Murphy's Law. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. He sabotages their equipment during exercises. Communication goes down. Weapons malfunction. Navigation fails. Most cadets panic, but a few learn to adapt. That's the turning point. After breaking down their technological dependence, Jake begins rebuilding the cadets as thinking warriors. He teaches improvisation, leadership under pressure, and team cohesion without communication systems. Human combat philosophy. Jake explains the human way of war. We assume everything will fail. Then we make plans for when it does. He teaches backup plans for backup plans and how to fight when outnumbered and outgunned. The success stories. Several cadets emerge as natural leaders. They learn to read battlefield conditions, make split-second decisions, and inspire others through example rather than ranked. War. Department concerns. General Tor faces pressure from his superiors. The training methods are controversial, and many influential families are upset their children are being tortured. But combat simulations show dramatic improvement. Combat deployment. The Devourers attack a frontier world. Jake's first class of graduates are sent as emergency reinforcements. The War Department and Jake watch remotely as his students face real combat. Initial disaster. Alien fleet uses standard tactics and gets decimated. Jake's graduates are thrown into desperate situations with failing equipment and broken command structures. Human methods under fire. The graduates apply Jake's lessons. When their ships are damaged, they improvise repairs. When communication fails, they use initiative. When outnumbered, they use terrain and psychology. The victory against all odds. Jake's students achieve the first major victory against the Devourers in years. They don't win through superior technology, but through adaptability and determination. Recognition. The galactic military adopts human training methods across all academies. Jake is promoted to Director of Combat Training for the entire Galactic Defense Force. The bigger picture. Jake reveals the true lesson. It wasn't about primitive versus advanced tactics. It was about creating minds that can function when systems fail, adapt to unexpected situations, and lead through personal example. Legacy. The story ends with Jake training a new generation of instructors, both alien and human, in the philosophy of adaptive warfare. The galaxy now understands why humans, despite their primitive origins, were such effective warriors. Final message. The War Department's test proved that the most advanced weapon is not technology, but the mind willing to use whatever it takes to complete the mission.